Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't heard the word, I just launched a new podcast. It's called Podcass. So sometimes the video will be available on my YouTube channel, but if you want to check it out, I'll put the link below in the description. But today, my very first guest that I've ever interviewed, so I feel like I learned a lot and I'm ready to interview someone again soon. Her name is Aubrey. She's from That's What She Eats. We got on Zoom because she's located in Florida, and I just had a lot of fun talking to her. Let's just get into the episode and enjoy. What's up? Wait, let me turn that off. Oh my God. Hi.
So professional. You look like a DJ and also a professional podcaster.
Well, I have to be able to hear you, and I was just, I got my how to cook everything is really helping me. So let's do this. Let's do the podcast. I'm so excited to have you on the show. That's What She Eats. Aubrey is here today, and I just invited her to come on and have a conversation with me. One, because I have a girl crush on her, and two, because you were the most highly requested guest on the podcast. So I put up the question box on my Instagram stories a couple of times, and everyone was like, pour coffee with Aubrey. That's what she eats. That's what she eats. We want to know her story. And I kind of am nosy myself too. So I thought this was perfect. So welcome to the podcast, my first guest.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. We're drinking coffee.
Mm-hmm. We were going
cheers to you.
Cheers. And so we do have the video version of this on my YouTube channel if you're listening on Spotify or Apple. But Aubrey and I are having coffee together. We were going to do this pour. If you follow her on Instagram, she has these very luxurious, luscious Weck jar coffee pours every morning that definitely makes me feel some sort of normalcy this year. I definitely have to say that. And then also too, I like to copy her and pour luscious luxury coffee pours as well.
You got to have something special to look forward to in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, okay, let's just dive right in because my favorite thing to talk to you about and how we became friends, I think, is just the creativity that we both find in the kitchen. And I think our favorite hobby, at least one of my favorite hobbies, is repurposing leftovers. And I think that's one of your passions as well.
Yes.
And so I want to go back. You're a personal chef. That's something that's kind of outside of what you're doing on Instagram a little bit in terms of just interacting with your clients and the type of work that you do. But I was creeping on your Instagram, you were talking about your schedule recently in a Q&A, and I think you said that you do, personal chefs, clients Monday through Wednesday, and then work on That's What She Eats towards the end of the week. But I want to know, how did you become a chef? How did that happen? And did you go to school? It doesn't have to be the whole life story, but I am curious how that kind of started.
Right. So let's think here. So I'll take you back to when I was in high school. I always had a kitchen job in the summers. I just loved to cook. I grew up cooking with my mom. I loved the Food Network. I just was a very food focused child, and it was a fun way to be creative. I was not sporty at all. I was a terrible youth soccer player. We could talk about that another time. But anyways, I always had a kitchen job, and my friends would be babysitting in the summer or doing something else, and I wanted to be in a kitchen with loud men and making stuff. So I got some kitchen jobs in the summertime, and even when I went to college, I was majoring in music. I'm a vocal major. I didn't
know that. You're a singer? We should sing together.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to come over on one of these good mics.
I thought you were at American Idol in your cowboy boots or something. Yeah. I was oh my God.
I was Taylor Swift wannabe back in the day for sure.
Hell yeah. Not here. Why not? I went to college for music, and I was kind of at this turning point. I was about to leave to move to Boston to get my master's. And 3 days before I was supposed to move, I was I just can't do it. I don't want to do this.
Whoa.
I was burnt out. It was a lot. I don't know. I'd gotten into a new relationship. I wanted to see where that was going. I also was the heaviest weight of my life, which kind of comes into play at some point. But every single coaching at my grad schools I'd had, they'd said, we won't cast you at your size.
Wow.
And you know, in my mind, I was thinking, God, I'm an opera singer. Like, I should be able to be, you know, the woman with the horns. Like, I'm confused here. What is sexy about opera? But I was sexy in my own right. But anyways, so I decided to stay in Cleveland, and I actually got a teaching job. I did not have an education degree. I got a teaching job at like a charter school, being a K-8 music sub.
Fun.
I made it 10 days. I am not meant to be educating children. Bless all of our amazing teachers out there. It's just not for me. So I ended up connecting. I just think there's so much.
So this is like right out of college, right? Like you're going to go right into your master's, and then you just decided, nope, not doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So I think there's like such power in connecting with people, like the energy that you bring, or like, I don't know, you can just like, you could get a lot from someone when you meet them. And I connected with this woman. She was like a raw vegan chef, and she was like, you need something. Like, what's going on with you? Like, what do you need? And I was so lost. You know, I just like didn't know what I was doing with my life. And she ended up connecting me to one of her friends who's like this badass lady chef out.
So you just like found some women. You were not sure what to do with your life, and you found some women.
Look for the women.
That's what I'm doing. And you know, that's what I'm going through right now. Like, where are the women? Teach me, lead me. I love that.
Seriously. Like always, you know, like if you're looking for the helpers, you look for the women.
True that.
She connected me to her friend, and her friend ended up hiring me full time. I worked my way up from just making side salads and desserts to like running the grill. Like,
this is raw vegan cook. Like,
this is somebody else. It was like a fine dining restaurant. Okay.
Yeah. Either way, still amazing.
Right. So I like really honed in my grill skills there, and then ended up running the line with one of my dear friends now, Brendan, for this restaurant. And we really made some bomb ass food for like 2 years. So anyways, I've been cooking in like fine dining, and I absolutely loved it. I love the energy and the atmosphere, but it was also along the time where I was on my health journey, and I was trying to lose weight, and I was kind of, you know, young, in my young 20s. I didn't want to work every night, every weekend, every holiday.
Yeah.
So I decided, well, how could this change? How could this evolve for me? What could I do? And I was building my Instagram slowly. I was trying to take pictures of food. So I thought, you know, I'm going to try to be a personal chef. Like, I'm good with people. I love the grocery store. Like, I'm very trustworthy to be in someone's home. Like, I can do shit with anyone, you know, because it's like being in someone's home like that, you have to be more than just like a robot in the kitchen. Like, you have to be like a full like entertainment kind of thing. So
especially if they're there too, and everyone's home right now. So now that you're going back into people's houses, they're watching you cook all the food and smelling it.
They're like, hi, me. So yeah, I decided to kind of send it out on Indeed. I looked for some people who are looking for personal chefs, and one family really took me under their wing. I was able to eventually leave the restaurant and make it like a full-time thing, and they passed my name on to other people, and here it is. I mean, you know, I think about when I graduated undergrad, you know, I was so lost. I thought my life was going to go a completely different way. And when people ask, like, how did you become this? How did you do this? And honestly, it was a lot of faking it till you make it. Like, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not to say there's not a ton of hard work. I mean, there absolutely is, but it was just kind of going for it and seeing what happens. And I'm so thankful that everything has worked out the way it has. I don't see it stopping anytime soon. I don't see it evolve, like the evolution, I guess, of the career. Like, I don't see it halting anytime soon. And I'm just kind of like down for the ride.
Yeah, totally. And, you know, when you were just talking, I was thinking two things. I was thinking, wow, one, you just trusted yourself. You got a little bit of skill, and you were like, I'm just going to trust myself to carry myself to this next chapter and on to the next thing, and look at where this has evolved. One. And then two, the most beautiful thing about cooking is once you learn something, knife skills, basics, those things are always in your pocket and you can get them out later. And so the longer that you cook and the better that you become, the more empowered and the more you trust yourself. And like, look at yourself, girl, you're rocking it. You're a personal chef.
Thank you.
Not to mention, I think so. This is maybe a good time to bring this up. So you just recently moved across the country, and you were in Ohio and moved down to Florida. what was that like trying to find new clients? Was it difficult? How did you put yourself out there? Because I get a lot of questions in my DMs because a lot of people know that I myself moved across the country 5 years ago from Illinois to Denver, and I planted my roots here. I'm here, but it's tough, especially when you move with your partner. So you're living with your partner and it's difficult to kind of, there's a lot of things I want to talk about, but let's talk about that. So let's start with the clients. So tell me how you're like finding new clients. And I think you're working with some professional athletes which I think is really interesting too.
Yeah, I am. So this also just ended up being like luck of the connections. I went to some networking events when I first moved here and met some people, which was nice, like to be able to get out there and talk to people that weren't, you know, my dog or Megan. Like, they're like, can you please leave the house? Like, go talk to someone that's not us. So it was nice to kind of get out there. But I'd been like, God bless Instagram, honestly. There's a personal chef in Tampa that I'd been following since before we moved, and we'd kind of like connected, you know, we were chatting and talking and like, and I actually got invited to like this influencer dinner. Pure Farmland put it on, and I just did a recipe with them like yesterday, and I loved it. It was so cool. It was like a fully plant-based meal, and they were bringing like awareness to what they're doing for local Tampa things. But I usually don't go to blogger events. Yeah. I just don't. And Megan was like, you need to get out of the house. Like, please go.
She's like, be gone, get out of my face.
Right. So I like put on a bra for the first time probably in like weeks.
Honestly.
And the personal chef, Alex is her name. She ended up being the one who was cooking the event. So I was like, this is perfect. I'll go, I'll meet Alex, I'll meet some local bloggers, see what they do, like what they love about the city, get some inside scoop. And I'm so glad I went because it was so wonderful to connect with these awesome creatives. And it was awesome to connect with her, and like her food was amazing. But we ended up getting coffee a few days later, and I was just like, thank God I made a friend. Oh my God. Like, thank you. And
I love making friends.
It's so hard as an adult, but like, oh, blessed be the fruit. So here she is, we're having coffee, and she's like, oh, so like, what's your schedule like? What do you do right now? And I was like, oh, I'm working like freelance for these things, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, so like I'm moving to Philadelphia in 2 weeks. And I was like,
gave you the gift.
Yeah. I was like, are you kidding? Like, we're supposed to be friends now. You can't go anywhere. And she's like, so I have, you know, a full list of client openings. Wow. Like, what are you thinking? And I was like, I could probably take a few, you know, like I don't want all of them. So I did like 2 weeks of shadowing with her and like found my best fits, and I ended up taking 3 of her clients. So it just like really worked out in my favor, thank God. And like from there, they've connected me with other people, like word of mouth. I've found some different like private events that I've done through Instagram.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, it's just,
you're just going with it. You just listen to women. Right. You just got to go with it. And I think things like that happening too have to tell you that you're right where you're supposed to be, and that things are just happening as they should, because I know that it was probably a difficult decision to, you know, leave your life in Ohio and move down to Florida. But
yeah,
I'm curious too about you and Meg separately kind of building your own communities and creating your own individual relationships with people, because for me, Kai and I moved out to Denver together. So anyone who meets us as a couple in a way. Mm-hmm. And some people are just like, I don't even know what you're like not married, which is so funny to me to think about, because I really just got married 2 years ago and I have this whole other life and name. So what's that been like for you, at least? I know you can't speak for Meg, but creating your own life.
Yeah. I mean, it was like a real whirlwind moving to Florida. Like, we had such a good thing established in Cleveland. Like, I will hype Cleveland till the day I die. It is such a great place. And I miss it a lot, but I'm really like loving Florida. Like, I'm loving putting roots down and getting to know this area. But I'm not going to lie, the pandemic has made it really hard to get out and like go meet people, you know? I'm so thankful for Instagram communities in that time, because it's like, you might not leave your house, but you're talking to like thousands of people every day, you know, in some way. So you're getting that interaction. But what Megan and I have going for us is Megan's like really sporty and I'm really not. So, so where she loves like intramural sports leagues and like you could not pay me enough money to go play basketball with a group of strangers. Like it just would never happen. So
I'll go play with her sometime. That sounds fun.
She
I love that.
loves it. And like we were a part of like a huge like gay sports league, Stonewall. There's like a hub in Cleveland, and like leaving that, I played bocce. I was on the bocce.
Oh, I was gonna say, what sport did you play? Bocce. Yeah. Nice. Well, now that you're in Florida, I'm sure you can find some people that are interested. There's probably a lot of elderly people who are interested in bocce, and probably better than you.
Seriously. I mean, we just like, there's like a bocce field like 2 blocks from our house we could walk to, and like a shuffleboard bar. So, I mean, yeah, we're living large. So stuff like that is really helpful. And then I can connect, with like food people and blogging and stuff. But I will be honest and say it's been really hard with, again, like the pandemic. So we kind of just like hang at home.
Maybe that's why I'll believe that your house is totally put together, that you just moved in because like of the pandemic.
Nothing else to do. Yeah. There's literally nothing else to do.
No, I'm thankful for Instagram as well too, because I mean, so this is the first time I'm actually talking live to Aubrey. I've never spoken to her before, but I feel like we've been longtime friends. Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like that.
And we have a lot of things in common. And last fall, she accidentally ordered the wrong Nespresso pods and like ordered a lot of the pumpkin, which if you know me, I'm a pumpkin girl too. And she sent me such a sweet package of all the extras, which I was still drinking at least through the spring.
You're probably like, okay, enough is enough.
No,
I get it.
I can never have enough pumpkin or banana. Never have enough pumpkin or banana. Those are my flavors.
I agree with that. I love banana.
So speaking of food, let's talk about creativity in the kitchen, because I feel like that's something that people are often looking for advice and tips on, and I like to share on. So you even inspire me all the time, because one time I don't know why, I think we were just talking and I was like looking for meat in my freezer and I sent you a picture of like a chuck roast, I think. I'm like, what should I make with this? And she rattled off like 4 ideas. She's like, barbacoa, ragu, this, that, make it plain, dress it up later. And so I'd love to know kind of your top 3 tips for being creative in the kitchen with what you already have, because a lot of people think I have to spend a lot of money to be healthy, or I have to spend a lot of money to make recipes and get into at least when I first started cooking, I think that's the difference too between us, is you've been cooking for so much longer than I have. And for me, I was a baker. I had like a cake business and I was full sugar, fondant.
Oh,
so I've always been creative, but the cooking piece didn't come until I started to do Whole30 and want to learn more about the food that I was putting into my body. And then it just became fun and I'm creative. So I just kind of rolled with it. But what are your top 3 tips for someone who's like new to cooking, in the kitchen, being creative, something that can help?
Yeah. So I definitely think, we have like very similar cooking styles, which I love so much.
We do.
Like, you have such great ideas. And I think like something that you do as well, you just have to go for it. Like you cannot be held back by fear that it's not going to work out, or it's not going to taste like, amazing or something. You just have to go for it. Yeah. I feel like people really underseason their food because they don't like, and if you're afraid of spices or trying spices, I was just talking to someone the other day about when you have a recipe that calls for like 15 different dry spices, I'm like, throw it out the window. I don't want you to buy like a million different things in one dish. That's where I have a good time in like the sauce aisle or the seasoning aisle to pick up a jar of a blend so that you're not, spending so much money on like a huge bottle of something you're using a little bit of. Like look for a blend that you might want to switch things up. So if you love grilled chicken and you're like, I'm really tired of eating plain grilled chicken, walk down the spice aisle, find like a Moroccan spice blend, an Indian spice blend, and toss some of that on your chicken and see how your dish transforms. I think just like playing with spices is huge. I love like dry goods, like beans and like, you know what I mean? Like
you're good at pulling from the pantry. You're a good pantry puller.
Megan is like, she is like, I've never ever met someone with like a pantry like this. And we don't have like an exorbitant amount of like stuff. You know what I mean? It's just like, I have like the fundamentals. Like I don't bake, but I always have flour and sugar and baking soda and baking powder, you know, or like I'll have a bag of dried black beans. I'll always have a bag of rice in there. And that's just how I grew up. I don't know. Like my mom always had a pretty stocked pantry like that so that, you know, she could just kind of wing it. And that works in my advantage, I think, because I always have something to pull from. But I think like I made picadillo this week, and that's basically like a ground meat or like a meat substitute or whatever. And I was like, okay, I've already eaten this picadillo 3 times this week in the original form that I've made it. I'm very tired. So let's do something new. So I had a bag of like dried black beans. I threw them in my Instant Pot with just some chicken stock. I actually added a couple tablespoons of like an Indian curry spice because there's that one cumin, you know. Some really ugly vegetables that absolutely needed to get used. I had like half of a stalk of frozen celery, like from the back of my fridge. I'm still getting to know my fridge. And like leftover grilled veggies, threw it in the Instant Pot and added the picadillo. And it was so good. You know, you just have to be like, I'm going to go for it and see if it works out. I hope that helps.
I agree. I pretty much would have said, I think the same thing, because people are always asking me, and especially as it relates to WW, it's like, what are the best WW recipes? What are the best healthy recipes? What are the best things on your grocery list? And I just say the same thing. I buy the same things over and over again, depending on the season. And then one of my tips, I guess I would add to that, is get some local produce boxes, because I know that you do that as well. And I do it for the push that I need to try new vegetables outside of my own comfort zone, because let's say there's an eggplant at the store and I might see it and I might say, yeah, I like eggplant and I would cook it, but actually buying it and taking it home to prepare it and just something is another story. But when I pay, you know, $20 for this beautiful, robust box and I have all different types of things, it feels like I have a box of crayons and I'm just like ready to color and play. And I understand the anxiety of not wanting to mess it up. You don't want to ruin dinner and then you don't want to be hungry. And I don't know about you, but especially when I first learned to cook, I'd be like, well, if I mess this up, I can just go to McDonald's. And then like, you know, I go to the fast food. I can go get Chipotle. Like I can go through the fast food. And so I would kind of give myself like this, it's okay to mess up.
It's okay.
Yeah. But then like, why did I feel like I needed to have a backup that I was even more excited about, which was fast food? And then slowly that, you know, kind of backup thing fell to the wayside. And then I'm just kind of trying to figure out whatever I have in my house, and you're spending less money. That's another thing.
It's so true though. I mean, I love what you're saying about the produce box. I find that, you know, our weeks are so, whether we're home or we're not, you know, like our week is so full of so many decisions that we have to make that by the time we get to dinner time and we have to yet again make a decision on what we want to eat, it's like, I'm tired. I don't want to decide anymore. I don't want to pick, you know? So like getting a produce box like that, I think is so genius, because it's like, well, I have 16 zucchini. So like there are no otother options other than we're having zucchini.
Zucchini lasagna. Every night.
We're having zucchini.
I think you're right. And I know that there are mixed feelings on different spices and things like that, but in my opinion, buying just like a quick, nice spice blend, even the spice stores, like when you go on vacation and stuff, there's tons of them all over Denver that people shop at. Those are nice too. Like just get a little fun garlic spice and sprinkle it on your zucchini. And I tell you, it'll be great.
Right. Change it up. A little Parmesan. I just think like, you know, I think those are really great ideas. And I love the produce box. And plus that like is helping bringing money back to your local communities. And I think there's so much like awareness and focus on supporting local right now. Like we're really trying to bring, you know, our quote unquote wealth back to our communities. And I love that. And it's important to fund our farmers, you know, they're doing the most.
Absolutely. In Iowa, so I went to school in Iowa, we say ANF, America Needs Farmers.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, because we do.
Yeah, we do. Really do. So, okay, we talked about food and cooking and creativity, but what about utensils? I want to talk about some of your favorite tools in the kitchen, because I also think that you don't need a lot of those either. it can seem overwhelming. It can seem daunting that you might not have a pineapple core, so you never buy a pineapple, but it's possible to achieve the things that you want in the kitchen. So for me, I'll say mine first, and a lot of people will be excited to hear this answer, because another top question that I get is the Instant Pot or the air fryer. Which one should I get and why? So really quick, for me at least, I would say Instant Pot is really good for like bulk meal prepping, hard-boiled eggs. You can cook a shredded chicken in 15 minutes. It's very quick and easy. And then the air fryer is something that helps you become a little more creative, in my opinion, in the kitchen, because you can just throw some veggies in there with a little parm, nutritional yeast, whatever seasonings, avocado oil. Like, veggies are my favorite thing to throw in the air fryer. So that's more, do you want your family to eat more vegetables? Are you trying to get more creative around the sides that you're serving? And you just, or the third thing, which is the main reason I love it, is do you live in a small place and you don't want to turn your oven on? Because I was living in a really tiny studio as well, like you guys were, and I hated turning my oven on. So I just learned to love my air fryer, and that's the love of fire. So Instant Pot and air fryer, I would say they're two very different things, but the other is just like a basic sheet pan, honestly, or a cast iron skillet.
Yeah, for sure. I think I love these. I'm a mad shit talker on the air fryer, and I'm sorry. I know yours will always look so good. It's not about like the quality.
Listen, I'm used to the haters. I
just think it's like an easy baked oven for adults.
It is.
It is.
I don't care.
Okay.
Touch it to me. I don't care. You know, the thing is, if that's what it takes to get more veggies in your diet, then I'm a huge fan of it. And if that's what it takes for you to learn how to cook salmon, because you know that you can put a salmon fillet in there and cook it in 7 minutes, that's the reason that I love it so much, is because it makes new cooking, it makes cooking an experiment, right? Like, it makes it fun for people. And I'm learning that those up for under $100 are spending more time in their kitchen. So that's kind of the secret reason why I love it so much, but also just for the convenience of it too.
I totally see the functionality of it. And like, especially if you don't have like air conditioning in your apartment or something, like turning on an oven is like a no thank you. Also, like if you're just cooking for one or two and you have, you know, like this much that you want to reheat, why would you use all that energy and turn your oven on? I do think it's great. Megan will literally kill me if I bring home another kitchen appliance. So I'm just going to let you keep that one.
I'll keep it. You can use it when you come over.
Thank you.
I have my friend visiting right now, and I'm just like, let's air fry everything. Because it's just funny.
Do everything. I love the Instant Pot. I was a huge shit tucker on that too until I got it and tried it. I get like side eye of the hype, you know. I'm like, it can't be that good. I just get afraid of being let down, you know. I just don't want to get hurt. So I'm like, it can't be that great. But it is that great.
The Instant Pot, yeah. For meal prepping. You use it for more meals though, I feel like. And like, throw it all in there, dinner's ready in 30 minutes. You walk away and come back and you've got a great stew, like a nice hearty stew. I love a stew.
People are like, why are you eating soup in Florida right now in August? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to keep doing it. It's always soup season. So to add to yours, I would say just like a really good knife, just one. You just need one really sharp knife.
Agreed.
Because that makes everything so much easier. And maybe like a big mixing bowl. I have like a huge stainless steel bowl that I use, and it's not fancy. I got it at like a kitchen outlet store. But it's awesome to eat like a big ugly salad out of. It's great to mix any marinades in, you know, like there's nothing worse than having too much stuff in like a small bowl and you can't like thoroughly, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because then your lettuce is dry on the bottom and it's disturbing. You don't even want to eat salad anymore.
Exactly. So I just think like a big ass mixing bowl, a sharp knife, and all of your wonderful ideas too are perfect.
Yeah. And I have a tip that I meant to say earlier, and I've been talking about this a lot on Instagram. It's literally grab a notebook before you go grocery shopping or before the week starts and go into your fridge and write down all the things that you do have and say, even in your pantry. And as Aubrey mentioned, she always has black beans. Like that's probably something that she just knows in the back of her mind. But if you need to write it down to just see the visual of like, this is all the like kind of leftover stuff. I have a lot of eggs, so maybe we'll do breakfast for dinner. It helps you plan and then spend less at the store and just try to lay everything out so you can see it and then plug and play.
Yes, I love that. I actually was thinking about doing a post because like, you know, part of my job is being efficient in the grocery store. So,
Yeah.
you know, when I go there for work, I'm not there to like, you know, see what's new. I'm there to like get in, get the things that I need and get out. So I'm like very methodical about when I'm making a client grocery list. I bracket the entire store out. So I know I go to different stores for different clients just based on what their preference is. But I know if I'm going to Sprouts, like I have like front listed and I know exactly what's in the front of Sprouts. Like, am I getting slider buns today? Am I getting like that brand of feta they really love? I'm going to grab that pita because I don't want to get all the way back to the dairy section and be like, shit, I forgot tortillas. Now I got to run all the way back to the front. Like, I'm very organized about front, meat, produce, dairy, pantry, and then out. So that really helps me too. And that's, you know, if you're not trying to go to the grocery store for fun on a certain day and you're just like trying to do business, laying out the store like in your mind or on your list is helpful.
Or ordering online. I know that's very popular these days during COVID, but I like doing it because I spend less. Because have you ever seen those maps of like women at Target that it's like just looks like a little kid drew with a crayon? That's me at the grocery store on any day. I'm so happy to be there. I of course love going to Target, but the grocery store is my place. And it's become a place of anxiety this year a little bit, which has been tough, but you can order it online and then literally just write everything out, place it into your cart, pick it up, or have it delivered to you, whatever service you use.
I love that too. And like, you get to see the total before you check out. So when you're like budgeting for the week, you're like, okay, I do actually have to put the Oreos back this time because we're over. I love it. I think it's great.
So your process for planning meals for clients, do you do this kind of like ahead of time? You start on Monday. Are you going to their house and thinking like, okay, this is everything that I'm doing? Just take me through that process, because I know that you're prepping a lot of meals. I see them on your Instagram and just kind of like ready to go all in one little glass container. What's the process to get their meals organized?
So I start the day before with a client and I'll send a menu. So with when I like kind of onboard a client, I get to know them. What are their nutritional goals? You know, do they have any allergies? Do they follow a specific diet? Like, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. I do not offer nutritional advice. If they have, as like some of my athlete clients, they do have, you know, team dietitians. So like I can work hand in hand with them, but I will never be. Yeah, it is. So that takes the pressure off of my shoulders. But if they're doing around a full 30, like great. If they're paleo, if they're low carb, whatever. So I know that. I like to know like where are their favorite restaurants and like where do they order takeout from. So because I don't know, like when I'm at home and I'm thinking like, okay, I really want like a version of orange chicken tonight. You know, I'm thinking of like my favorite restaurant down the street and how I can make that at home, like to help, like to meet my goals. So it helps me to know that kind of stuff for them. You know,
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at me and you together because we are so the same. Every time I'm somewhere, I'm trying something and I'm like literally eating it. And I'm like, and Kai goes, "Are you thinking about how you can make that at home?" I was like, yes.
yes.
Or I'll say, we should try to make this. And he's always just like, why do you have to go through the effort to make your own almond milk? Just buy the almond milk. Like, he doesn't get it. So I was just laughing because we are totally the same. Okay. So.
Oh, good. Okay. So anyways, after all that's done, I will send like, I'll just send a menu, and it's usually like 1 or 2 breakfast options, a few snack things, and then 5 entrees. And so entrees always include like a starch and a vegetable and a protein based on whatever they want. And so most of the time they're like green light, thumbs up, yes. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, can you please make those enchiladas you made that one time? Or, like swap out the broccolini. I'm not really feeling that this week. So I think that's a question I get a lot. People are like, oh, did they tell you what they want?
Yeah,
and like,
I was curious.
A little bit of both. Yeah, I always take requests. But I think one of the perks of having a personal chef is like someone else is deciding for you. Like you just open the fridge and like pick what looks good right then, but like someone else is deciding what's for dinner. So that's nice. And I try to work around like the globe when I'm cooking every week. So I'll try to do something Italian, something Mediterranean. I'll try to grill something for that flavor profile. And then we'll do something Mexican. I'll try to do like a stir fry of sorts. You know, I'm trying to hit a bunch of different flavor profiles. And then it's like a little puzzle. So I'll do like something Italian with chicken, and then I'll do something Mexican with beef. And then I know I still have like shrimp left, and I have a way to use pork, and I have a ground chicken, and you just kind of like fill in the little puzzle pieces, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
No, that
I
makes
probably sound crazy.
No, that makes perfect sense. And I think this is going to be helpful for people who are planning meals at home for their families, because the variety is key.
It is.
I mean, it's easy to get stuck. And truthfully, that's one of the reasons I made Cassidy Eats on Instagram in the first place, is because I wanted to kind of like remember what I was making, because then I'd scroll back in my feed. I'd be like, oh yeah, I loved making that, and I need to make that again. So it's like a food journal. You just have to stay fresh on your ideas and stay. And I don't know if this has happened to you during quarantine, but I get a lot of, meat. My meat's delivered, my produce boxes are delivered. And I feel like my cooking really shifted to like a necessity type cooking of just whatever I have, I'll just make it and it's fine. I wasn't inspired anymore, because I am a person who likes to go to Whole Foods without a grocery list sometimes, which is also risky. It's a high risk situation.
Danger.
Alert. Paycheck empty. It's gone.
Someone's calling Kyle, someone's calling your parents.
Well, like if you want to see if shishito peppers are on sale or whatever, like that kind of stuff. So no, these are all really, really great tips, and I'm actually getting a lot out of this as well.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know. I think I get like a little like closed off when people ask me about what I do. And I don't know, like if you ever feel like imposter syndrome or what, like, because I kind of feel like I just like got dropped down into what I do with my life. I have like a really hard time kind of owning it and like, kind of like reveling in the badassness of what it is. Cause like, I do think it's brilliant and I absolutely love what I do. And I'm really good at it. I take big pride in it, but sometimes I get a little like, oh no, like, am I not doing things like the right way? Like, is this how other people do it? Is like, I don't know, like,
it's not
like
how other people do it. That's how no one does it. And that's what makes it so cool. Like no one can do what you do, and no one can make the food that you can make and tell the stories that you can tell and share the knowledge that you can share, but you. And like anyone, really. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, and I understand why you would feel that way. I guess my situation is just totally different in that I've always just been like a nutcase, and everyone's been trying to just calm me down and simmer me down. And I'm at the point now where I'm just like, yeah, I can't be tamed.
No.
Yeah.
Who wants to be tamed? It's special, like what you bring to the table, what we bring to the kitchen, it's like really special. So I think, I don't know. And like when I get I say to my clients all the time, like, if you don't like something, please let me know. It's not personal.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a crock of shit when I say that, because it is personal. Like, I'm literally like feeding your family. It is like the most personal thing that I could be doing for you right now.
Yeah.
But it helps me to know that, like it can't be like a home run every single time we try something new. You just really might not like broccoli. So I try to be open to like the feedback, but when someone says like something's like really freaking good, I'm like,
yeah. I agree. It was funny. My client, my personal chef client, is my husband, and his friends come over and they're like, wow, this is so awesome. Like the single guys. But the other day we had this like guanciale, and I kind of pan-seared it with some pasta, just like a quick dinner. But he had barbecue for lunch or something like that. I'm like, okay. Well, I didn't know what he had for lunch. And he sits down, he's like, it's really good, but like I had pork for lunch. So like maybe next time. And I was like, are you fucking serious? He started laughing.
Kyle.
He started laughing. But I'm like, how am I supposed to know you had pork for lunch? This is delicious.
Right. Like, start an Instagram so I can know what you're eating.
But he's also, do you ever, like if something's wrong with your food at a restaurant, do you have a problem saying anything to the waitress or sending it back or anything like that?
I do. I have like a really hard time with that. I don't know why. I should, but we don't like, I don't know. It depends. You go ahead. You go ahead.
I mean,
share what you were about to say.
No, I'm curious because you're someone like, I waitressed for many years and was just always serving food to people. And I myself had a standard of what I would put down from the kitchen. I would say to the chefs, like, this looks like shit. I'm not serving this to someone.
Not taking this out there.
But I would never be offended when someone would say to me, oh, I ordered something else, or this isn't done enough, or, you know, XYZ, whatever the reason is. I would never be offended because I know what it means for someone to go out and enjoy themselves, like out at a restaurant, spend their hard money. Like, I want them to get what they want. And I hope that they are being honest with me. And so when Kai, he's like that too. He's like, it's fine. I'll just eat this. I'm like, and suffer through a $14 entree that you've been looking forward to all week. Like, you know, we all get out when we can get out, and restaurants and sitting down for dinner is one of those times. So I want the experience to be epic. And I would say that I'm a little less judgier on food because I am a person who looks at the whole picture. So now I'm just talking about what I think about restaurants. I don't know where we're going.
You want the experience. You want the whole, well, it's kind of hard anyways, because if you are a good cook, like if you make bomb ass food at home, like when you are going out to eat, you're taking that time off, like it has to be better than something you could have made at home.
Totally.
So, you know, like that's sometimes like the hard part for me. I get like, oh shoot, we like went out and spent, you know, this much money on like a fine meal, but I could have like made this at home. And then I get like mad that I spent like
totally. Me too.
Something that wasn't that great.
Me too.
But I don't think I would be like, this tasted like trash, like please take it away from me.
Yeah,
but if
I
my
wouldn't
chicken
say
was
that.
underdone, I didn't say you would. I'm just saying, like, because I've worked in kitchens, like sometimes people are psycho, but
people are psycho.
It's so true. Like you're spending your hard-earned money, like you want the experience, but I feel it. I'm like, I could go to Subway. I mean, the vegetables are always going to be cut the same way. Like it's always consistent. They're not letting me down. That bread smells the same every time. Like,
okay, what about Kava? Because I still haven't gone there yet, and I know that you've been bullying me to go there. So Kava it's like a grain bowl place, right? Like something along those lines?
Yeah, it's Mediterranean. I think they're probably going to get a restraining order for me right now because of how much I troll their Instagram. Like, it's just good for no reason. Like, for no reason. It's like quinoa and lentils, like some mixed super grains, and then they do like a bunch of like Mediterranean style proteins and like all these toppings. It's just, I love fast casual food.
So do I.
There was a place in Cleveland called Chula, and like they had a couple locations, but it was Indian fast casual. I always equate everything to Chipotle. Like it was the Indian Chipotle. And
we have one of those here. It's called Takabe. If you're in Denver, Takabe is fantastic.
I miss that. I love it because it's like in and out. You have to go to Kava.
I will.
They have this like.
We have tons of these types of places. We have tons of these types of places in Denver. Denver is amazing about the fast casual, fresh bowl, smoothie, quick, easy. They make healthy eating really easy living here, I would say.
That's so great. You know, I think like any place that has like quinoa stocked and loaded, like ready to go is like my place.
But then you're like, I could make this. And when I go to places like that, so I went to Flower Child a couple of weeks ago and I was like, I could totally make this quinoa corn salad and it is so delicious. I probably won't ever make it because I just will get it from them, but it's, it's the thought that I have when I'm there. So I know you did a question box on your Instagram. I'm kind of curious what people had to say or what they wanted to know.
So it was, some people are like, just a question for you, like, what color is your lipstick? Where did you get your shirt? You know?
Always.
Like, okay. And then someone asked where we met and how we became friends. So like we talked about earlier,
through Insta.
Like, through Insta, just stalking each other, like loving each other's vibe. Let's see. Let's pull up the rest here.
I will literally talk to anyone on the street, and like Instagram, it's not weird for me to meet friends through Instagram. Like my personal people are like, yeah, that's totally Cassidy. But it's kind of a weird thing to think about, like meeting people online. But I don't know, like you're putting your I don't know. It's normal for us.
It has been such an interesting thing. And like when I think about how long people have been like hanging around here, like I've had this Instagram for almost 6 years now, and when people message me and say things like I've been following you for a really long time or like since the beginning, like that's crazy. Like you're part of someone's life at that point. Or when someone messages you and says, you know, like, oh my gosh, I made your crispy buffalo tofu this week, my family loved it. Like you're a part of someone's dinner table now. Like that's huge and that's special. And it's hard what's hard for me is when people are like, if my friends are like, oh, Instagram influencers, like eye roll, whatever. And it's like, there's like a very fine line between people who are like community cultivating,
Totally.
you know, and then like influencers, which I love to follow, like a lot of just influencers who, they're like, you know, their curated content is so cool, like what they get to do. But I also think there's a really big difference between like what I'm trying to accomplish, what you're trying to accomplish here. And like, I don't know if that makes sense or not.
No, absolutely. I feel like influencer is such a bucketed term, and it just doesn't feel fair to me when I say like I'm an influencer. And it's not because I don't like the term. It's just because it doesn't encapsulate all the things that I'm doing and trying to do. Like it doesn't encapsulate the amazing community of women and the ability that I have to make anyone feel like they can do whatever they want. That's what my goal is. And so if I'm an influencer who influences positivity and making people have better lives, that's okay. But I just feel like when someone says, what do you do? And you're like, I'm an influencer, like it just doesn't even let them know what you really do.
What like bomb ass shit you're actually doing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just going with it every day. And I have to say, speaking of Aubrey's, you know, kind of her whole story, she's saying everything just kind of happened and I went with it, and she really trusted herself. Like that's what I learned the most about you, is that you really trusted yourself in your early 20s. And that's so inspiring, because it's very difficult to do when you aren't and I talk about this often. If you're new here, come join me on Instagram, because I'm always talking about this kind of stuff and I'll go on a rant about it. But a lot of women are just stuck in these cages, right? That they think that we have to get a job that has health insurance, or we have to work our way up. And so then we kind of start to believe that we have to emulate behavior of certain people who we see as successful to get there. And that's where I found myself, where I'm like, wait, what? This ain't right. And I think it's fucking amazing that you just went for it and you're still going for it. And know that it's probably difficult for you to see from the outside of just like, yeah, like, am I doing this right? Like, what's the way I should be doing this? But I think my own version of success and what I think success is being healthy, happy, and fulfilled, and excited to wake up every day. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank and all that kind of stuff. It really doesn't. And maybe that should matter to me. But it really doesn't. It really doesn't.
I do. I really agree. Like we get caught up in this like vortex of like wanting, you know, certain things. And like at the end of the day, we have to remember that like self-care is about like the way we talk to ourselves, and like, you know, rooting for ourselves. It doesn't always have to be like the expensive, you know, whatever someone else gets. And that's something like I really have to remind myself all the time is, I love what you said about like, you're exactly where you need to be. Like I say that all the time. And I am trying to break this bad habit where I buy like worded things, like quotes, you know, like I used to have like a million live, laugh, love signs.
Oh, you were one of those.
So, like, so I was like really trying to break that habit. And I was walking through IKEA the other day, and there was a sign that said like, you are right where you need to be. And I was like, thank you, but also you have to stay here. Like you're not coming home with me.
You read the message, you got it. You don't need to read it every day.
Thank God. So yeah, like I think just, you know, you are right where you need to be. It doesn't matter if it looks like, you know, somebody else is, whatever they're doing. It's just, you know, just like that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Because we can get lost in comparison all the time. Like social media is, you know, just like people's highlight reels. I know it's said so often, but it's so true. Like we can't get stuck in this like hamster wheel of comparing our, like what our journey should look like. We just have to trust ourselves and like go with it.
Absolutely. And I think for anyone who's listening, if there's something that you got to say or that you want to say, and you want to create a platform of your own, whether it be Instagram or, you know, whatever, my advice to you is to just do it and don't spend too much time on the platforms that you want to post on, because sometimes I can even catch myself if I'm not posting and then I spend more time scrolling than actually creating on Instagram. I kind of lose my own voice a little bit where I'm like, oh, like I like the way that this person stories, or the right way that this person does their feed pics, or, you know, you just start thinking about those things and then it makes you kind of, you know, get farther from yourself. But if I can offer you any advice, just do it and don't look at anyone else's, because it'll make you second guess yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Totally. Yeah. Okay. So some of the questions that we got are, all right, what are your favorite podcasts? So obviously besides podcasts.
Oh yeah.
Podcast. Like and subscribe.
Yeah. And leave a review. I need reviews so people can find me in the, in the charts.
I will.
I like the Skinny Confidential. I like the variety of it. And I think that the banter between the hosts is good. And just the topics are usually topics that I'm interested in. And they've really refined kind of their interview styles. And I really enjoy the Skinny Confidential. I listened to Michelle Obama's podcast, the first episode. Cool. It came out in the same day as mine because we're sisters.
Right. And Oprah, I'm sure you listen to Oprah, right?
I listen to Oprah too. Yep.
Okay. I will be honest, I'm not like a huge podcast buff. Megan is like such a podcast lover. But the ones that I listen to with her that I really like are The Office Ladies.
I've heard that one's good. Yeah.
Yeah. And then My Dad Wrote a Porno.
Oh, that one's great.
So funny. Yes. So I love those two. And now I can't wait to listen to yours. I think it's like it's so interesting. There's two dynamics. You could listen to a stranger and like feel like you get to know them, you know, just like any other social platform. But when you are listening to something that like from someone that you like really admire and like you feel like you know already, it's like such a different like personal experience.
It really is.
Like I'll just be listening to my girl Cassidy in the car, like we're hanging out, and that's really cool.
It's so cool. I had one of my friends from college actually reach out to me. She listened to the first episode and she's like, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I was listening and I kind of forgot that I was listening to someone that I know. But then at the end, I was like, oh, Cass, I miss you. I was like, that's what I want everyone to feel. Like we're hanging out, because God knows when we're going to be able to do that again.
Seriously.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. So someone else said, what's one of your favorite ingredients? And then what's an ingredient that you can't stand?
Recently, my favorite ingredient has been feta. I've been putting it on everything.
Here for it. I love that.
Crumbled feta just on the top of any plate.
On top of me, like on top of my bed pillow.
Fine. Let's do it.
Here for it.
I'm always rationing feta though, because it's kind of expensive. So I usually use it sparingly.
Yeah. Feta fairy.
What do you like? What's your favorite ingredient?
Okay. So I think I love olives so much. I would love to add olives. Oh no.
That's my least favorite ingredient.
That's your no. I love olives. I love because they're like salty and they're like fatty and they like brighten up a dish. I love olives. Megan hates them, which is good because I don't have to share any with her and I really don't want to. So that's good. And then an ingredient I truly cannot stand is rosemary. I just can't mess with it. It is like eating a Christmas tree. I don't like it ground. I don't like it whole. I don't like the flavor. I can't do it.
Wow. Rosemary. I mean, yeah, olives. I hate olives. They're disturbing to me. They're slimy and sickening.
You're hurting my feelings. Okay.
Sorry. I'm sorry. You hate my air fryer. So
I know. I was like, this is karma for the air fryer comment. Okay.
I don't care that people hate the air fryer and call it an easy bake oven. I love it. I own it.
I'm down with my easy bake oven. Hey, it works. I will give it to you. It's totally fine. All right. Someone said top 3 habits that have changed your life.
Ooh, meditation for sure.
I agree with you. I make time every day. Like honestly, either before I go to bed or first thing in the morning, I do like a 5 or a 10-minute guided meditation, and it either puts me right to sleep or it like helps me start the day in like a.
So you're either doing it like at night or in the morning?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you use? An app?
I use the Calm app. So I really like that. But I'm totally open to, I know you can do like a bunch of free things on YouTube.
Right.
And probably Spotify. I haven't even checked. But yeah, what about you?
I've been really loving Melissa Wood Health. this whole quarantine. She is a crush. Yeah, write it down. She's a crush on Instagram for sure. And then I started doing her workouts, which are kind of like a mix between yoga and Pilates, but she also has meditations on her app as well. So I kind of mix between her meditations. I like Calm. Insight Timer is a free one. That's a free app that you can download if you're looking to get into meditation.
Free is important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I was going to hate it. Queso, can we chill? She was like,
Queso? That's okay.
Queso.
Queso.
I thought I was going to hate it. And it is hard to sit still with your thoughts for a while, but it does get easier.
It does. It does.
Just bringing things back to the breath is so important. And that's something that I'm very grateful to have learned this year.
Yeah, I agree. I started doing it this year as well. So I'd say meditation. And then the second habit that's changed my life is cooking. That's a habit.
Yeah.
It really is.
I know.
And the third, what do you got? I don't know. I need to think about the third.
I think honestly, it is so hyped up already and like whatever, but like water consumption.
Oh, 100%.
I never am anywhere without a water cup, a water bottle, like
huge.
Yes.
Always.
The healthy always.
Healthy human cups are the best.
I just think, it's like the key to so many things, to like good sleep, to good skin, to like feeling your best.
Mm-hmm.
Just hydration, honestly. So learning to just like really like drink some freaking water during the day. Like I have some friends who maybe drink a glass and I'm like, are you okay? Like, are you even okay inside right now?
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, I was going to say that too, but I agree. It's like kind of overhyped, but at the same time, people have said, oh my God, your skin looks great. And it's like, yeah, I do use skincare products, but I also make a point to drink at least a gallon of water a day and get 9 hours of sleep and do this and do this.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the bonus, since we kind of agree on all three, the bonus habit is hugging Kai as often as I can. Like it sounds so weird, but I just like go up to your partner and just hug them whenever you see them in the house. And especially since we're spending so much more time together, and like really hug them. And hugs are supposed to lower your cortisol and just make you overall happier. Try it. Go hug Meg. When we hang up, you're going to go hug her.
Like, hello, I need you to come home right now. Time to give you a hug. I love that. All right. Should we do one more?
Sure.
Okay. I'll let you choose between these. Someone said tips and tricks on cooking fast for your clients. There's one. And then if it's not too personal, your experience being LGBTQ in the culinary world and living in the South. And then
that's interesting.
Someone asked, just between those two.
Well, since I'm not living in the South in the LGBT community, I'm kind of interested in that personally, but the other one, and just like quick creative, I know we covered a lot of that at the beginning of this episode, but I would say kind of like Aubrey said, when she's planning meals for her clients, it's like a starch, a protein, a vegetable. If you just kind of think that way and plug from what's in the fridge and in the pantry, it's really easy to come up with something pretty quickly.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I agree. I think if I'm thinking dinner, I'm thinking in like that 3, like a pie chart. And then what's taking the longest to cook, get started on that. And then I know like my veg is always coming together the quickest. So that's last. So it's usually probably just like my meat protein first, start that, then get my starch, get my rice going, and then get my veggie going. And then everything's done together and we can eat.
Yeah. Or if I am really thinking ahead, I made a lot of rice yesterday and I only need to just heat it up. So meal prepping too, like just batch prepping. If you're making rice for dinner tonight, make like 3 times the amount, because you'll likely heat it up for a meal in the next couple of days. Try to maximize that time. I mean, has it really, I'm kind of curious in that other question. Obviously it's not targeted towards me at all, but you've been in lockdown for a lot of the time that you've been in Florida, but what has that been like for you and Meg going from Ohio to Florida and just kind of experiencing the people? Because even for me, not being gay, like moving to a new part of the country, I have noticed a significant difference in the way that people treat each other. And I'm here for the life in Denver because everybody's who they want to be and free and open and liberal. But anyway, what's your experience like?
I think like, So we live in Tampa, and that's super close to St. Pete, and St. Pete's super gay. Like, I love that vibe. I love St. Pete. I've met a lot of really great humans who live over there. And then Tampa has been very welcoming. Like, you know, I haven't experienced any hate here. No one's been aggressive or anything like that. I don't know. We don't know the area well enough yet to be like, yeah, we can absolutely be like walking down the street holding hands. But I mean, we do, you know, it's just like, it takes time to kind of like get to know your area and like your surroundings to like really make sure that you're feeling safe where you are. And
absolutely.
So far, I felt really safe.
Absolutely.
So I mean, the neighborhood that we moved to, like, there are a lot of gay flags hanging around in like people's bungalows, which I love so much. And like, it just, I mean, I think Florida is just generally really colorful. Like, everyone's houses are super bright and like their doors are fun colors. So I think it like really goes with the vibe. But yeah, so far the South has been welcoming.
That's good. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure anywhere you go, people are idiots, but anywhere you go, there's also good people too.
Oh my God, for sure. And I just like, I don't know, if we had left, I mean, like, if it was not friendly, I don't think we would be staying here. So I think like be putting down roots for a little while, like, I was talking to Meg the other day. I was like, can you believe like a year ago we were like, let's move to Florida, and like now we own this home here in Florida. Like, what are we doing? Like, it feels like we like blacked out for a year and like I just woke up and we're like, whoa, what's happening?
I agree. I bought a house in Denver and I just quit my job and here I am.
Right. Here you are.
Going for it. But that's interesting. I'm glad to hear you've had a positive experience. I'm actually, just because I'm thinking about it, and for my listeners, I'm going to record an episode in the next couple of weeks with my event wedding planner kind of guru. Her name is Jenna, and she has a really interesting story that we're going to talk a lot about, which is her experience falling in love with a woman when she had never been with a woman before and marrying her. And it's just kind of her experience from being with men, and it'll be really cool. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, that will be really focused on that topic. But anyway, I think we've talked enough for now. We'll have to do another episode. I appreciate you so much coming on here and just like doing this with me. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm having so much fun.
You're amazing.
And yeah, well, where can everyone find you? That's the last thing we need to do here.
Sure. Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram at That's What She Eats. And then I also have a blog that I use, that'swhatsheeats.com. So a combination of those two places. Should be a friendly face.
Yeah,
waving,
she's
like
fun on Instagram. She's a daily follow for sure. Thank you so much, Aubrey. We will see you on the next episode of the podcast. Thanks for joining.